Hey everybody, Jim Christopher here. Before we jump into Corpus Christi Bay and swim over to Whataburger Field to talk a little bit about the Corpus Christi hooks, I wanted a chance to reel some new information. I want to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about the hooks. So between now and the time in which we originally shot, recorded, and released this episode, the Corpus Christi hooks refreshed their brand, and it is the catch of the day, people. They did a fantastic job. And so before we, again, got going with the episode, I wanted to take an opportunity to kind of show off some of the brand, some of the look, and some of the ways that you can hop online and get some of this sweet merch for yourself. Now, the first thing they did was adapt their faux back look into the main look. And I've always loved this. The Texas pride thing is real, and I love the hook turning around and pointing to Corpus Christi. Now, on the main logo, they have a lot of really cool things that harken back to the city of Corpus Christi. For example, if you walk along the bay, you're going to see all of these little bayfront miradores, and they have these really cool archways, and that's represented in the bottom of the logo. The 8 stars surrounding the logo symbolize the 8 major industries of the city, which include agriculture, commerce, oil, chemicals, metal and ore refining, seafoods, the port of Corpus Christi, and the Naval Air Station. One of the other areas where they really shined was really adopting or steering into the skid of some of Corpus Christi's more local identity. For example, adapting the famous Texas flag, but instead of having the word Texas around the star, having the word hooks, or using the Sparkling City nickname, and adapting the Texas state logo, but instead of having just the one hook point to the city of Corpus Christi, we've got 2 forming the CC. All little things, but what it does a great job of doing is taking this brand and making it even classier, even cleaner. And it's the kind of brand that you can have with your team for the next 25 years of the team's history and have it never feel outdated or have it feel old. So that's it. That's the new look. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you check it out. We hope you get some of your own merch. I have already gotten quite a bit. Look, we love the original brand of the hooks, but sometimes after a while you want to refresh, you want to change things up. And a lot of teams in the minor league baseball ecosystem sometimes can get a little crazy. What I love about the hooks is that they have created something that's classic and classy, yet modern. And for a lot of the fans of the hooks who already had the faux back look, now they can still feel like they're part of the team without necessarily having to go out and buy a bunch of new merch. Although I think you should go out and buy a bunch of new merch after you watch this episode, which begins now.
The Diamond, a place where legends are born, where hitters drop 400-foot bombs, where pitchers throw heat. The home of peaches, yard goats, trash pandas, and sod poodles. This is Ballpark Nation, your home for baseball from sea to shining sea. Now your host, the guy who could never crack his high school starting lineup, Jim Christopher.
Now, before we jump into Corpus Christi Bay head first to hang out with the hooks, I thought this might be a good opportunity to explain to our newer viewers who think baseball is really 30 major league cities just how involved and how deep the game of baseball goes in our culture. And we're going to discuss today briefly 4 levels of baseball that you can go and see really highly competitive, really good athletes play this game that brings us all together. Now, in towns and communities from Cape Cod all the way up to Anchorage, Alaska, a lot of fans' first exposure to live baseball comes in the form of collegiate summer league baseball or college woodbat leagues. These are leagues where college athletes will play during the summer to keep working on their skills, to get at-bats, and most importantly for hitters, use a wood bat as opposed to the composite bat that you'll see during their regular college seasons. It's essential for these young athletes to make sure that they're getting as many at-bats with a wooden bat as possible, because when they leave college for the professionals, that's what you're going to use. Now, there are degrees of skill level of college summer leagues. The best are in the Cape Cod League, and that's where you're going to see people from baseball powerhouses like the University of Texas and LSU and Notre Dame. But there are leagues all throughout the country that will give ball players an opportunity to get some more innings, get some more plate appearances, and keep sharpening their craft in hopes that they make it to the next level of baseball. Now, after college, the road is going to fork, and we're going to look at the group on the left, the independent leagues. I don't know why I put them on the left, I just did. Now, indie leagues are just what they sound like. These are independent leagues that are separate from Major League Baseball affiliation. They run their own teams, they pay their own players, they can make trades. Some of the highest profile indie leagues in the country are the Atlantic League and the American Association. But independent leagues range all over the country. And some of those players are maybe players who didn't get drafted because the MLB draft is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Or maybe these are guys who didn't quite catch on and they want another shot. A lot of players, particularly pitchers, can make the transition from independent baseball to affiliated baseball. So there are some really high profile teams you can go out and watch. You can go see the Chicago Dogs, which is one of the best ballpark experiences in baseball. The Joliet Slammers, which is a fun name. The Fargo Moorhead Redhawks. Although don't go to the Home Depot in Fargo asking for a wood chipper. They look at you like you're crazy. Now for the players that take the right fork in the road, these are players that are drafted out of college and even high school into the affiliated minor league baseball, which basically means this. Every parent club, which is the 30 major league clubs, have 4 affiliates underneath them. A AAA team, a AA team, a high A team, and a single A team. And the idea is that you work your way from single A all the way to AAA and then to Major League Baseball. Now, some players are high enough draft picks that they can skip a level. You might see some of your more highly rated prospects maybe have like 10 at-bats in single A before they move up to AA. But these are all players that are paid, developed, and taken care of by their major league club. The teams that these players play for oftentimes are owned by the major league club. Sometimes they're independently owned, but they deal with the game day experience and all the fun stuff while the major league club deals with all the things that come with player development. That's when you get to Major League Baseball, called the show. These are your 30 baseball teams. I do think you're going to see some expansion. I think you'll end up getting to 32 to make scheduling easier. But these are the teams that you know, the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Chicago Cubs. But there are also great and thriving major league environments in some cities that you might not be familiar with. The Kansas City Royals have an excellent tradition. So do the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Arizona Diamondbacks put on a great show and have already won a World Series in their history. The Miami Marlins have won 2. So no matter where you go in these 30 cities, you're going to see baseball played at the highest possible level by the best athletes to play the sport in the world. So that's how the different levels of baseball works. Now, we're going to draft you. We're going to send you right to AA, the Whataburger Field, home of the Corpus Christi Hooks, the AA team for the Houston Astros. Grab your mitts and bats because we're diving into an adventure at Whataburger Field, home of your Corpus Christi Hooks. Whether you're a diehard baseball fan or just here for the beer, peanuts, and Cracker Jack, and honestly, who can blame you, we look no further than the home of Farrah Fawcett and Eva Longoria and Selena, the coastal bend of Texas, the Corpus Christi Hooks. Now, attending a Corpus Christi Hooks game is an experience that immerses you in the heart and soul of baseball. And as you step into Whataburger Field, the energy is just palpable. It's all over you, buzzing with the anticipation of the crowd and the timeless traditions of America's favorite pastime. Nestled along the scenic Corpus Christi Bay, the ballpark offers more than just a game. It's a vibrant community gathering place where fans of all ages come together for a good time and, as I like to call it, the greatest game ever invented. Now the party starts in the line to get in. People are so jazzed to get there that they'll show up hours before just to get into the ballpark as early as possible. This town loves their Hooks and greet each game with anticipation. Whataburger Field boasts a symmetrical layout. The field spans 325 feet down the left and right lines. The power alleys extended 375 feet, challenging batters to aim for the fences while giving outfielders plenty of room to roam. Now at its deepest point, center field stretches a massive 410 feet from home plate. That's a pretty fur piece. I can count on one hand how many things I would run 410 feet for. Baseball's not one. I'm not much of a runner, if you can tell. Now beyond the field, there are lots of ways to pass a summer evening. You can watch the game from the crystal clear waters of the swimming pool in right field. There's a swimming pool in right field, and if you've ever been in Corpus Christi in July, you'll want it. You can shoot hoops or play some wiffle ball. It's a blast for the whole family. Whataburger Field caters to fans' appetites with a diverse array of food and drink offerings that elevate the ballpark experience. You can get classic ballpark favorites like hot dogs and such, or unique local flavors. But for those of you showing up craving a real taste of Texas, y'all, the ballpark has a full-size Whataburger in it. Newbies and oldies need to take a bite of one of the best burgers on the planet. Another win for Whataburger over In-N-Out. To beat the Texas heat, fans can cool off with a refreshing ice-cold craft beer from local breweries and really big frozen margaritas. In the hook, line, and sinker, they offer a wide range of merchandise that allows fans to show their support for the team and do it in style. No matter which identity you choose from, you can look good. From hats and jerseys to t-shirts and accessories, there's something for fans of all ages to enjoy. Fans can choose from a variety of designs and colors to suit their preference, whether you're looking for something classic and old school or something new and cutting edge. Additionally, and this is what's bad for my bank account, is the Hooks regularly introduce new merchandise collections and limited edition items. This gives fans the opportunity to stay up to date with the latest trends and show off their allegiance to the team wherever they go. We spoke to Emma Spott, she's the social media manager of the Corpus Christi Hooks, about her role and the need for teams to reach out not just to their local fan base, but recognizing that there are baseball fans all over the country that might be interested in the Hooks. That's why it's Ballpark Nation.
And we're back out here at Whataburger Field, home of your Corpus Christi Hooks. We have Emma Spotts here. She is the social media director, which I'm super excited about because that's like the lifeblood. Did I get the title right?
Yeah.
I always get the titles wrong. They add all the
There's
words.
a lot of words, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of words. Minor League Baseball has grown, and it's really become where you're catering, obviously, the people of Corpus Christi, but there's this entire fan base of people that travel to games, that get merch. How much of your social media plan has to be directed at both that audience and the sort of wider audience that you can see?
It's crazy. I try and make my plan just kind of, centralized to Corpus, but also, there's Astros fans. There's people that don't even know a thing about baseball that might live, what's considered far away. Far away from here is like Alaska. We might have some baseball fans in Alaska, and you want to cater to them and try and figure out hey, how can we help them enjoy baseball? How can we help them, become a Corpus Christi Hooks fan? So kind of just, trying to keep it Corpus central, but trying to rope some people in as well along the way. You find a balance.
The look of the Hook stands out as one of the best in baseball. The branding embodies the spirit of the coastal Texas city and its vibrant baseball culture. From the team's distinct hook-shaped logo to its many alternates, every aspect of the branding reflects a sense of energy, excitement, and hometown pride. The hook motif pays homage to the city's rich maritime history because people in Texas be fishing. Not maybe me, but other people. But the faux back look, that's my favorite, brings the Texas pride alive. The Dia de los Hooks identity really captures the city's Mexican culture and heritage. Speaking of heritage, every year the Hooks become the Blue Ghost in honor of the USS Lexington, anchored just off the right field wall. And if goofy is more your speed, and I know in minor league baseball it often is, the Hooks honor another Texas legend, my daughter's favorite menu item in the state, the honey butter chicken biscuits. We asked Emma how much fun it is to get to promote a team and a brand that has several identities and looks under one umbrella.
Every season that I've at least been following the Hooks, we've always had something different come out for each season. We remodeled the look of our Blue Ghost merch every year. This year we just released, we rebranded our Dia de los Hooks into our Copa identity, which was super cool, super fun. Same exact.
I love that you did that too, because the Dia de los Hooks, the Copa thing I love, but Texas it's always better because there's that actual
Exactly.
It's not like Vermont. Let me find the 3 Hispanic guys that live here and get their opinion. But but I love that you merged the Dia de los Hooks because that's such a on top of original, so much more original.
It's been around for a while too, and again, just keeping into what we what we've grown through like with our brand and keeping things, you know, Corpus centralized, it's been nice to be like, hey, like how can we incorporate this more into, you know, minor league baseball? And now we've made Dia de los Hooks into our Copa, which has been, you know, super fun. Again, I've only been here for 2 seasons, but it has been really cool to see like that rebrand and that growth throughout that as well.
The biggest job of the Hooks, or any local team for that matter, is keeping its fandom engaged. By the long lines at every game, you can tell they have a great plan.
You know, again, I'm very, very thankful for our fan base. I think, again, we had opening night last night and we had basically a sold-out crowd. The berms were full, seats were full. Everywhere I looked, it was crazy, and it's truly something magical to be a part of. Again, we've got a lot of giveaways this season. We are, again, like I said, moving into our 20-year anniversary, so we're kind of hyping up for that right now and trying to, you know, honor the ballpark for, you know, we've been here for 20 years, but this season, I would say my favorite giveaway, if we want to talk giveaways, would be our Sammy Mutton Bustin' bobblehead. I don't know if you've seen Mutton Bustin' at our ballpark.
Oh, I've not seen it at the ballpark, but I know I've seen some muttons get busted.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I've never seen Mutton Bustin' until I came out here. For people who might not know, the kids will get on the sheep and literally ride them, and we had them out in our center field during a game, which was crazy. But this season, we are giving away our mascot, Sammy. It's him riding the sheep, Mutton Bustin', which is crazy. Both of the little bobbleheads bobble as well, so the sheep and Sammy.
Oh.
It's cool. It's pretty cool.
We asked Emma about the steps the team takes to engage the community in areas that are not just playing a baseball game.
Our community stuff this season, we're doing our Kid Reporter. I don't know if you've ever seen our Kid Reporter.
I have not, but that sounds amazing.
Super fun. We did stuff with them last season. It's just a way to get, you know, local kids involved. They come and they interview players before Friday games, and they get to hang out, watch the guys do batting practice. And again, it's just a way to get, you know, kids more involved in the ballpark. It's super fun. And another thing we're doing this season is our Hooks gear drive. We actually just gave away some of our equipment from last season to local high schools that might not have,
great.
you know, like catcher's gear, some stuff that they, you know, might not necessarily get throughout the program, and we're able to give them some of our old gear, which is, again, another way that we're just kind of being involved with the Coastal Bend area.
Throughout their whole history, the Hooks have played a significant role in environmental stewardship within the Coastal Bend community. Whether it's participating in beach cleanups on Coastal Bend weekend, or promoting eco-friendly transportation options to games, or participating in a turtle release, how cool is that? The Hooks demonstrate a commitment to being environmentally responsible stewards of the entire Coastal Bend region. We had a great conversation with Emma. She is a lot of fun, and her future in baseball is definitely bright. But we couldn't let her go without having a little bit of fun, Ballpark Nation style.
Well, now it's time to have some fun. Now we're going to set you up with some random questions. Okay, you're at a new ballpark for the first time.
Okay.
Where do you sit?
Ooh, you know, this might be a hot take, but I honestly kind of like a berm seating.
Okay.
A lot of people like to be able to sit behind home plate or be super close, but I think it's nice to be able to see. I mean, this is just my opinion probably, but I normally sit up in our press box, so my view is the ballpark head on. And if I'm going to a game, I want to see a completely different perspective.
Sure.
So I'm sitting down in the berm, I'm seeing the ballpark from a different point of view. Might be kind of far away from the game, but I think it's kind of cool to be like, hey, like this is a different point of view, catch a home run maybe, you know. Yeah, hot take, but.
Okay, what is your go-to ballpark food?
My go-to ballpark food. You know, I'm vegetarian, so kind of limited.
There are
on some of
4
my
things you can
options.
choose from. Yeah.
I honestly, do we count Dippin' Dots as like a
I think you
food?
can count Dippin' Dots,
Dippin'
yeah.
Dots has been my go-to since I was young, so Dippin' Dots would probably be my go-to.
Okay, and if you could be put in charge of the branding of any team in minor league baseball, not the Hooks,
Not the Hooks.
who do you think has the best brand out there, but you can't count the Hooks?
Ooh, okay. That's a tough one. I mean, I know off the top of my head, I would probably say the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Yes, okay.
I'm obsessed with the work that they do. If any of them watch this, I love you. But again, I don't think I would like change anything or be in charge of their branding. I'm just giving them a shout out at this point because I respect their work.
They really do a great job. Well, you're doing a great job running the social
Thank you,
media.
thank
Make sure
you.
you give the Hooks a follow. And thanks for being on Ballpark Nation.
Thank you for having me.
The park, the food, and the merch, and most importantly, the people, all add up to a great ballpark experience in Corpus. From the mascots doing their thing, to the games between innings, to the fireworks to close off a great night at the ballpark, it's a blast. Pun again intended. On a personal level, it was great to spend the day with family and friends that are part of the production team of this show. Whataburger Field made for the perfect way to jump into the show and get ready for what I think is going to be an incredible season of baseball and travel. It was also my service dog Orbit's first baseball game, and following him on the show whenever he can make it to the game is going to be worth the watch. Who doesn't love cute puppies? And if you don't love cute puppies, I want you to stop watching. So thank you to Emma and the entire Hook staff for welcoming us and showing off your incredible ballpark. Truly a must visit as you move through Ballpark Nation. Now before you get to the ballpark, check out a piece of America anchored just beyond right field. The USS Lexington holds a storied history as one of the US Navy's most iconic aircraft carriers. The original Lady Lex was one of the US Navy's first carriers, completing that crazy mission of launching planes off boats. Now commissioned in 1927, she played a vital role in World War II, participating in numerous battles in the Pacific. During the Battle of the Coral Sea in May of 1942, the USS Lexington sustained critical damage from the Japanese, leading to her eventual scuttling by American forces. CV-16 was commissioned as the Lexington, the fifth ship to honor the battle in the American Revolution. She participated in a number of battles during the war, including the raid at Tarawa. Now, over the course of the war, she took some hits that would have crippled any other ship, but the Lex sailed on. She earned the nickname the Blue Ghost from the infamous Tokyo Rose because no matter how many times she was reported sunk, and it was a lot, the Lexington kept coming back. Today, the USS Lexington CV-16 is preserved as a museum ship where visitors can explore her decks and learn about her historic contributions to naval warfare. We spoke to Steve Banta, the executive director of the USS Lexington Museum, about what it's like to run that ship.
There's really almost 50 years of history on board this aircraft carrier. So 1943 until 1991 was when the ship was finally decommissioned.
We were really interested to find out how they decide what does or doesn't become an exhibit.
It has to make sense to what we're doing here, you know? And so that's kind of how we would look at it. Early days of the ship, be honest with you, when we opened up, there was 5 tour routes now, but back then there wasn't a lot on the ship. 1992, the ship opened, and there was some things to see, but mainly the ship was the artifact. And there were some planes, there was a couple things. And so at that time, if you were anybody and you called and said, hey, I got this cool old uniform and do you want to have it for display? They probably said yes. But it's important that we are showing people a nice cross-section about life on board the ship, which is representative of life aboard ship for any sailor of any ship, really. One of our displays shows a baseball uniform from the previous USS Lexington carrier, the CV-2. We fully recognize that going to a museum, looking through a tour route at artifacts and reading placards and all the things that go with a museum experience, it's not for everybody. Not everyone is into that. And so what we try to do here at the USS Lexington Museum is add things in that will bring in other demographics. How can we expose this great history and this ship and what it represents to other people? And so we have things on board like we have escape rooms on board. It's kind of maybe an odd place that you might think about, escape rooms. A comic book now, the Blue Ghost is the nickname of the ship, that's been turned into this whole like Transformer kind of thing, which is really cool, very popular. We just cannot keep this stuff in stock. An overnight adventure program, we call it Camp Lex Overnight Adventure. We've had over 430,000 kids sleep aboard since the program started in 1993.
The Corpus Christi Hooks become the Blue Ghost every year, complete with a new uniform.
They wanted to commemorate local veterans and military service, and we were just blown away at how amazing the concept was, and we do joke here that, we'll always take a meeting. It doesn't matter how crazy the idea might sound. We'll always take a meeting. That's turned into professional bull riders up on the flight deck at one point too. We do lots of things here. It's fun. They came up with the logo. We gave them some input about, how to, a couple things just to make it look authentic with the ship and, some different aspects like that. But the majority of it though is we wanted to make sure that there was some accuracy when they were using different language to talk about veterans and Memorial Day services and things like that. And so we've been working directly with them every year now.
We asked Steve the most important question: why do museums like the Lexington matter?
It's kind of the, that old saying you probably heard is, if you forget history, you're doomed to repeat it. The fact is there's a lot of lessons to be learned with history. And if you're a student of history and you look at these things, is that no matter how advanced we are as human beings, and we feel like, I think there's kind of a sense today where we feel like, hey, we're so advanced that we're all just going to be nice and we're all just going to get along because we're tolerant of everyone. And that's great that we are. And for the most part, people are better in many ways. There are numerous nations around the world that are buddies and allies that are not at war, and they used to be for centuries, and that's great. But that advancement is not worldwide. Unfortunately, there are people who would love to advance their way of life or by destroying somebody else's way of life. And so unfortunately, the best defense for that and the best way to remember how to combat something like that is to have a strong defense for your nation and your way of life. And this ship is indicative of that. Before this ship was needed, the whole world thought we will never have another war. World War I ended, and it was called the War to End All Wars. Within 20 years, the whole world was at war again.
We want to thank Steve for coming on the show. We hope you'll follow our recommendation and give the Lex a chance to make an impression on you like it did on us.
And now on to close it out, the right-hander from Houston, Texas, Jim Christopher.
All right, folks, we have caught our limit. It is time to sail away. We cannot thank the folks at the Hooks, Whataburger Field, and the Lexington enough for having us out. We had an amazing time. This is the best part of visiting a minor league baseball town, is all the hidden gems you will find submerged into the community. That's really one of the best parts about visiting, and that's really the best part about visiting a minor league baseball city. It's finding all those submerged gems just below the surface that the city has to offer. And honestly, for Corpus Christi, we just barely waded into about our thighs. I don't go past my thighs because my mother had me afraid of Jaws at a young age. As for us, we're going to jump in Harry Camaro and hit the road. So where will we be next time? You're going to have to tune in to find out. Until then, I'm Jim Christopher. This is Ballpark Nation, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, 'cause it's root for the home team.